Hi, I'm Cassidy. I am the director of Klamath Film, and with me today is Weston Snider, the filmmaker behind The Ride Home. Weston, thank you so much for chatting with us today.
Yeah, thank you so much for reaching out.
Yeah, absolutely. We're so excited to be showing this film in our Northern student category. So, where are you a student at, and what made you want to kind of pursue filmmaking?
So I'm actually a student at this really tiny liberal arts college in Eugene. It's right next to the U of O campus, but it's called Gutenberg College.
Oh,
And so it's actually got about 25 students. It's that small. Like most people have heard of, there's some other schools around this area that people have heard of that they think I'm talking about when I say I go to a really small school next to the U of O, but this one's a very, very small program. Um, this school honestly actually doesn't have quite as much to do with my interest in filmmaking uh, as kind of my roots. I originally grew up in a very small town in Alberta, Canada,
wow.
and it was this place called Rosebud, and it was just a theater and a theater school. Basically, it was about 100 people. So my parents were actors and theater instructors there, and pretty much everybody who lived there was either an actor or involved in the theater somewhere in some way, or they ran a bed and breakfast. So growing up around there, I really that was a like there wasn't a ton to do, so that was an environment that really lent itself uh, to me finding creative things to do. Growing up, I would be outside playing with my friends, making up all different types of games and kind of using my imagination. And I think that turned into me wanting to wanting to start making little films with our tiny camcorder. I think that's just about anyone's story, especially in today's day where we have access to filmmaking equipment. Was just I just started as a kid because I wanted to make movies like the ones that I loved.
Wow.
Um, and so, but I think that I was able to start. I started taking myself kind of seriously, like more seriously than I should have. But like I started kind of taking filmmaking seriously when I was around 13, the age of 13, because there was like it was just there was a lot of people who very quickly got behind me when I said I wanted to make something. Like it was a town full of artist professionals. So when I said that I needed actors or crew, they were like, "Yeah, I'll help out." Like they were just it was a super supportive environment, and it really helped me get a lot of confidence and a really good start.
Wow, that's awesome and so interesting. I love kind of the small town and really cultivating, your interests and things like that. So, what was the inspiration behind making this film, The Right Home?
Yeah, so this actually it has a lot to do with where I grew up. It's filmed. All of the locations are about 25 to 30 minutes away from where I grew up in this town called Drumheller, which is actually known as like the dinosaur capital of the world. That's kind of their
Oh,
thing.
cool.
They have this huge like 100-foot dinosaur right in the middle of downtown that you can go climb up in the mountain and stuff. It's fun. But so that's where I went to school all of my years. So I got to kind of know that area. Um, but it's sort of the inspiration for the film was that I recognized that I think I started writing it at the end of grade 10, um, which was interesting because I wanted to write something about graduating, and I had not yet graduated. So I
Yeah.
was like, the entire time that I was writing this thing, I ended up writing it kind of at the probably the second half of my grade 10 year. And then throughout 11th grade, kind of like it was a ridiculous amount of drafts that the script went through. I think it had like 15 drafts at the end, which for a short film is just so many because it would change drastically every time because I really didn't kind of figure out what I wanted it to truly be until much closer to the time that I started shooting it, and that was because that was after I actually graduated.
Wow.
Um,
Yeah.
but so I think it was so this is kind of quite a long answer. I'll try and keep it more concise. But I think the real inspiration came from uh, sort of this sense that I had about I knew that the time right after I graduated was going to be like a very important, quite like poignant time of my life. Like I think that I had a lot of expectations that I had for myself. They weren't very specific, but I really wanted myself to do something remarkable. And so I put a lot of pressure on myself, kind of like one of the characters in the story to kind of get out of the very small place where I grew up and to go somewhere. But at the same time, I really love the place where I grew up, and so sort of the other character kind of embodies a lot of the kind of the other side of that spectrum where I like also have never lived anywhere that's not 100 people until I moved away last September. And so it I think the inspiration was originally mostly around that, whereas like I want to write something that happens on the last day of school. And also my other idea originally was I was like, what it would be interesting to write a short film that happens on the last day of school, and it's about like a character turning the chapter kind of into the next stage of their life and all the excitement and stuff that comes kind of around that. Um, and it was the other idea I had was I wanted it to take place all entirely on a school bus. That was kind of my original idea. I was like, that's an interesting concept that
Totally.
sounds unique. Um, and that didn't end up happening. Like it just didn't. The story ended up kind of taking me elsewhere. But that's still kind of the beginning of the portion of the film is where we're kind of just stuck on the bus with these two characters. Because I had like a 45-minute bus ride to school every day, so I thought that I had something to say about riding a school bus. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, and I also think that, everything you're saying is what makes the film so relatable and beautiful and fun to watch is because it is such a universal human experience of like, graduating and wanting to go somewhere and do something grand and the kind of these two conflicting emotions that we feel that are so wonderfully represented in between the two characters. So I love that. But yeah, Weston, so for you, is there any other films that you're getting excited about or any film ideas that you might be working on here in the future?
Uh, I wish that I had a really good answer to that. I've been trying to prepare for that. I've heard some directors talk saying that you should always have something to promote. I don't I don't know if I have another like passion project short film on the go at this time. I've been doing some writing this summer. Nothing has really fully clicked yet. I mean, I've had a couple little ideas, but nothing that I've gotten crazy enough about to like really start making into something. I've been doing a lot of work around Eugene though, doing some corporate videos. Well, I guess corporate is kind of a bigger sounding word than it really is. Kind of some videos for small businesses, but like promotional videos and such. I got to make. I just finished a really fun like a video I really enjoyed making for this kind of Neapolitan pizzeria that's pretty new.
Sure.
And so I got to do some more creative feeling filmmaking there. But I'm hoping that kind of throughout the next couple years of college, a lot of my degree, like a lot of the reason why I'm taking sort of a liberal arts degree is because I think that it'll be a really excellent foundation. I mean, like for how to be a human being, but also
Yeah.
for if I intend to make any sort of art in the future, like it's kind of in going through and looking at all these kind of classic books and just like I'm sort of trying to take a look at what everyone throughout history thought was really important. And I think that that's a really good background to have for me if I intend to say what I think is important as well. Um, so sorry, all that to say, I really hope to be coming up with something soon. I've done a couple small things, but nothing that I've like gone through the work to really get funding on or to really put my full heart and soul into. But I'm hoping that in the next few years I'll get something. I'm also trying to do the student thing as
You're
well. But yeah,
also, yeah, a full-time student. So,
yeah,
I mean, that is a great answer, Weston. And it does sound really exciting and being able to use like the pizzeria and stuff like that. So, no, I think that is pretty remarkable, everything you're getting done as a student and being in college and in a new country and United States from growing up in Canada. So, yeah, Weston, we're so excited to have the ride home and our 11th annual Klamath Independent Film Festival, and we're just so excited to be showing it. And so, thank you so much for your work and for submitting it.
yeah. Thank you so much. I really appreciated it.
Yeah, absolutely.